Oh, hey everybody. I'm just tallying up the 2018 Golden Globe nominations, and that's coming up this Sunday, and I wanted to give you my thoughts. Actually, I wrote down some of this. I actually have the nominations pulled up as well. I have finally seen most of the movies on this list. I have not seen a lot of the television series. However, I'm still going to make guesses just based on what people have told me and what I'm just going to think. So here are my thoughts on who was going to win at the 2018 Golden Globes and the people who are going to get nominated. Men and women that I'm really looking forward to. Some of these movies I still have not seen, and I'll actually tell you about these each time as they come up, each category as they come up. So let us begin with the Best Motion Picture. Alright, for the Best Motion Picture, and I have this right here as well up here, we have the nominations of Call Me By Your Name, Dunkirk, The Post, The Shape of Water, and Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Now I personally think, despite Three Billboards, out of all those movies, I have actually yet to see The Post or Call Me By Your Name. I really want to see both of those movies, more so on the Call Me By Your Name. The Post looks interesting, but I'm not too interested in that movie. But I mean, I'll watch it. Steven Spielberg, Meryl Streep, and Tom Hanks. So, you know, you got some good stuff there. My prediction is actually that Dunkirk will win or Call Me By Your Name. One of those two. I actually think it might be Dunkirk. Christopher Nolan did a fantastic job here. Out of all the movies I just saw Shape of Water last night, liked it a lot, and I also really like Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, but I don't know if they're going to win Best Picture, that's the thing. And don't know anything about The Post, so I'm just going to pick Dunkirk. Alright, so now we're moving on from there. The Best Motion Picture in the musical or comedy section, we have The Disaster Artist, Get Out, The Greatest Showman, I, Tonya, and Lady Bird. I have seen all of these except for I, Tonya, which I really want to see. It looks hilarious. But my bet is going to be on Lady Bird. I really loved this movie, and I think out of all of these movies, Get Out's a good contender, and so is Disaster Artist. I don't think Greatest Showman's going to win. It was a fine movie. I watched it actually already, but I really want to see I, Tonya. But I think Lady Bird's a shoe-in here. I think that it's got it in the bag. All right, now we're moving on for the Best Director in the Motion Picture. And by the way, I'm looking at all these as well. I have my answers here. Best Picture, we have the nominations for them is Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water, Martin McDonagh for Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, Ridley Scott for All the Money in the World, and Steven Spielberg for The Post. I've seen all these movies except for The Post, once again. I think that, why am I looking around? Martin McDonagh is going to win for Best Motion Picture Director. I just have a shoe-in. I love Martin McDonagh. You can see behind me I have In Bruges. I think this movie was really well thought out and really paced very well. I actually got really into all the characters in this film, and I think the director really shows he showed what he's worth in this movie, where he fleshed out all the characters and the way he shot a lot of the scenes. And a lot of the scenes were just really nuts and crazy and over the top, and that's just kind of his style. And so I really like his direction here, and I think that's, in my opinion, is going to want what wins Best Picture there. So I picked Martin McDonagh for Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Alright, now we're going to move on to the best performances by an actress in a drama. We have Jessica Chastain for Molly's Game, Sally Hawkins for The Shape of Water, Frances McDormand for Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, Meryl Streep for The Post, and then finally Michelle Williams for All the Money in the World. Now, once again, I think I'm going to pick Frances McDormand because she was her and Sam Rockwell were the best part of this movie, hands down, and Woody Harrelson as well. It's really hard to pick, but Frances McDormand just killed it. And honestly, I can't recognize her from the old Fargo days, where she was kind of a silly northerner that really didn't really know what was going on, but also was really intelligent, but had that really weird comedic timing. And I really liked this dark direction that she was taking. Very serious role here. I will also say that Molly's Game and Sally Hawkins, Sally Hawkins, Jessica Chastain and Sally Hawkins did fantastic work here as well. Michelle Williams also did a fantastic job. And I don't know anything about Meryl Streep, so my pick is Frances McDormand for Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Alright, moving on from there, we're going to go to the best performance by an actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. So we have Judi Dench in Victoria and Abdul, Helen Mirren in The Leisure Seeker, Margaret Robbie in I, Tonya, Saoirse Ronan in Lady Bird. I probably said that name wrong. I've heard many people talk about it differently. and Emma Stone in The Battle of the Sexes. Now, I've only seen two of these movies, actually. I have only seen Battle of the Sexes and Lady Bird, but I still think Saoirse Ronan has it in the bag. It's either her or Margaret Robbie for I, Tonya. Haven't seen Victoria or Abdul with Judi Dench, even though I love Judi Dench. And then Helen Mirren in The Leisure Seeker, I'm sure is fantastic. I need to watch that. So my pick is Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird. Alright, let's move on from there to best performances by an actress in a supporting role by any motion picture. So we have Mary J. Blige in Mudbound. We have Hong Xiao in Downsizing. We have Allison Janney and I, Tonya. Laurie Metcalf in Lady Bird. And Octavia Spencer in The Shape of Water. Octavia Spencer was not in The Shape of Water too much, so I don't think she's going to go to her. I'm really going to see it down to, based on the trailer, Allison Janney is probably going to win. It's either her or Laurie Metcalf, because the opposite of Saoirse Ronan is Laurie Metcalf's is the mother in Lady Bird, and I thought she was a fantastic, well, she wasn't a fantastic, she did a fantastic job because she was so horrible. She was just a terrible person in this movie, and honestly, that mother-daughter relationship was a really messed up one, and I think she pulled it off really, really well. So it's either between her and, based on the trailer alone, Allison Janney for I, Tonya. So those are my picks. I think I'm gonna go with Allison Janney for I, Tonya. I'm just gonna go with my heart here. I haven't seen all of them. I'm not gonna watch Downsizing. I'm sorry, just not. All right, moving on from that category, we have the best performance by an actor in a motion picture in drama. So if they have Timothy Chalamet, I want to say, Call Me By Your Name, Daniel Day-Lewis in Phantom Thread, Tom Hanks in The Post, Gary Oldman in Darkest Hour, and Denzel Washington in Roman J. Israel-esque. Now, I've only seen one of these movies. However, I really want to see Phantom Thread with Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't think he's going to win again because he's just so good at what he does. But based on the movie I did see out of all of these, I think Gary Oldman has this in the bag. Darkest Hour was such a fantastic movie. I'm actually seeing it for the second time tonight. I watched it yesterday when I was up in KC, but I'm watching it again tonight with a friend. I love this movie. It actually put me in some emotional pitfalls that I had myself. But I do want to see Roman J. Israel-esque and Call Me By Your Name, and of course The Post. So in my opinion, I think Gary Oldman has this in the bag. You can test me on that one. Come at me. Germany, because he's Winston Churchill. Moving on from there, we have the best performance by an actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. So we have Steve Carell for Battle of the Sexes, Ansel Elgort for Baby Driver, James Franco for The Disaster Artist, Hugh Jackman for The Greatest Showman, and Daniel Kaluuya in Get Out. To me, this is it's between two people. I think it's between James Franco and The Disaster Artist, because he did such a great job of being Tommy Wiseau, and then Daniel Kaluuya. I've seen all these movies, and I will say that all of these guys did fantastic work here. However, I think James Franco has this in the bag. He just did such a fantastic job as Tommy Wiseau, and he nailed the voice, and he nailed the performance by him too. And like he said himself, it was about 99% accurate. Yeah, Tommy Wiseau himself said it's about 99% accurate, not the football tossing, so it's pretty funny. Alright, so James Franco is going to win Best Performance of an Actor in a Musical or Comedy. Moving on from there, we got Best Performance of an Actor in a Supporting Role in a Motion Picture. We have William Dafoe for The Florida Project, Armie Hammer with Call Me By Your Name, Richard Jenkins in The Shape of Water, Christopher Plummer in All the Money in the World, and finally Sam Rockwell, 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Now this one's really hard to really track, because I've seen all these movies except for Call Me By Your Name. I really loved William Dafoe in The Florida Project, and actually that's where I'm kind of pointing to. However, Christopher Plummer really shocked me in All the Money in the World. He did such a fantastic job. I know he took over Kevin Spacey's position as he was, booted off the project for all the sexual allegations. Ridley Scott did a fantastic job of putting him typecast as this character, and Christopher Plummer just did such a fantastic job here. On top of Sam Rockwell in 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, talk about character development. This character went from point A to Z so fast, and it was really delightful to see this. However, I think I'm still going to pick William Dafoe because Florida Project had a lot of heart, And that's something that, I mean, I haven't seen the Florida Project in any of the other categories, so I really want William Dafoe to win. Remember, this is my own list. I think William Dafoe did a fantastic job here as the only really well-known actor in that movie. There's a couple of actresses that are new, and they did fantastic as well. But I think William Dafoe deserves this. So that was one of the toughest categories so far. Now we're going to go on to the best screenplay by motion picture. So we have Guillermo del Toro's and Vanessa Taylor's The Shape of Water. We have Greta Gerwig's Lady Bird. We have Liz, Hannah, and Josh Singer's The Post. We have Art McDonough for Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. And we have Aaron Sorkin's Molly Game. So I've seen all these movies except for, once again, The Post. And these were fantastic screenplays. And I'm actually going to look at this list because I can't remember what I wrote down. I actually wrote down, and this is before I actually watched Molly's Game and Shape of Water. So I wrote down initially Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird because I thought it was such a fantastic new take on a coming-of-age story. But this one's hard because Molly's Game, this is the first time that Aaron Sorkin has directed a movie. However, this is in the screenplay category. So this is like his kind of bread and butter. He's known for writing. So it was a very well-paced and tight movie. Del Toro and Vanessa Taylor, I liked the last half of Shape of Water a lot more in the first act, so I think I'd kick them out. I haven't seen The Post yet, and then Martin McDonough is the other contender that I thought the screenplay was fantastic, with an ending that left for some interpretation. But I think I'm going to stick with my Greta Gerwig as Lady Bird. I think that she did a fantastic job here. I think I'm really looking forward to seeing more of these kind of works from her, and I honestly think that Laurie Metcalf and Saoirse Ronan just did such a fantastic job here. I know I'm going into the actresses category, but I'm talking about Greta Gerwig's the screenplay. It was lovely paced. I think Greta Gerwig's Lady Bird. All right, let's move on from there to Best Original Score in a Motion Picture. We've got Carter Burwell for Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. We have Alexander Desplat in The Shape of Water. We have Johnny Greenwood for The Phantom Thread. John Williams for The Post, and we have Hans Zimmer for Dunkirk. Well, howdy folks, I bet you were wondering why this hard cut. And I was too. As I was editing, I realized that my battery died, and it cut out one or two of my sections, and I reshot the second section, which you'll see in a second. But that first section that I cut out was the best original score for a motion picture, which I've already listed all the names, and so now I'm going to really tell you about what I thought about all of them. I've seen everything in this except for Phantom Thread and The Post, which I've talked about a little bit before. I really enjoyed Dunkirk. That soundtrack by Hans Zimmer was just a fantastic sonic experience at the IMAX that I really was just immersed into, and I honestly thought this was a fantastic addition to Hans Zimmer's work. And then with Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Carter Burwell's, I actually don't recall too much of the score as much as I care about the screenplay and then the performances by the actors and actresses, honestly. And then for Shape of Water, I really enjoyed it. I actually thought I was going to enjoy it a little bit more. Some of the moments, I really like how Del Toro always kind of highlights back to the early to mid 1900s to really understand this Cold War-esque feeling that was going on in this movie, and I really enjoyed some of the throwbacks there. However, I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Johnny Greenwood's Phantom Thread is going to win this one, because just based on the one trailer I've seen, I really enjoyed. I can just tell that this score is going to be fantastic, and so this is just a random pick from my brain. I think Johnny Greenwood for Phantom Thread is going to get this. Good job, John Williams. We all know you from Star Wars, but man, I'm really just shitting on The Post, aren't I, for this entire time? But I mean, I hope it's a good movie. I can't wait to watch it. But anyway, back to my next category, and back to my more normal self with worse lighting, all that stuff. All right, I'll see you in a second. All right, sorry about that. I'm sure you wouldn't even notice, but my camera went out because the battery died. But I was actually moving on for my next category, and that being the Best Original Song for a Motion Picture. Now, I've only seen one of these movies. We have Home for Ferdinand, we have Mighty River for Mudbound, Remember Me for Coco, The Star for The Star, And this is me for The Greatest Showman. I've actually only seen The Greatest Showman. However, I really want to see Coco, and I actually think this is the shoe-in. Remember Me will probably win. I have not actually seen the Golden Globes before, and I actually have not actually watched it live. However, I will say that I know that the Oscars usually the best Disney Pixar movie usually wins, and so I'm assuming Coco is going to win. So that's just my shoe-in pick for that is Coco. All right, now we're going to talk about best motion picture animated. We have The Boss Baby, we have The Breadwinner, we have Coco, we have Ferdinand, and we also have Loving Vincent. Now, I have not seen any of these movies. However, I really want to see Coco, and I really want to see Loving Vincent. So I honestly think it's going to be between those two. I actually think I think Loving Vincent actually is going to win this one because of how original and unique it is. I remember watching the trailers for this movie and actually talking to some people who've seen it, and they really liked it. They really enjoyed it visually, and I think that's literally what's going to happen here. All right, so let's move on from there for the best motion picture in foreign language. And this is usually one of my favorite kind of categories, but I never watch the movies until after the fact because none of them show here domestically, unless I was in some kind of ridiculously random, unique theater in like LA probably. So the categories are A Fantastic Woman, First They Killed My Father, In the Fade, Loveless, and The Square. I have no idea. I'm just going to pick one at random, and I'm going to say The Square. I feel like I heard that one. So there you go. That's for the best motion picture for foreign language. And actually, this is a good transition because now we're going to talk about TV, and this is another thing that I have not seen much of. I've seen some of these shows, but I have not seen many of these shows, and most of them I'm just going to guess based on hearsay and also what people have told me. So here we go. Best television series for a drama. We have The Crown for Netflix. We have Game of Thrones for HBO. We have Handmaid's Tale for Hulu. We have Stranger Things for Netflix, and This Is Us in NBC. I actually have only seen Game of Thrones and Stranger Things. However, I have a feeling that Handmaid's Tale for Hulu is going to win because I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends were talking about this show and talking about how good it is. So I actually think Handmaid's Tale's got this in the bag, but we'll see. Moving on from there, we have Best Television Series, Musical or Comedy. We have Blackish, ABC. The Marvelous Miss Marvel for Amazon. The Marvelous Miss Maisel. I messed that one up. Master of None for Netflix. Smilf, Showtime, and Will and Grace for NBC. I want to say Blackish. I think Blackish. I've heard about Master of None. I know that's Aziz Ansari, and Will and Grace. It's obviously a throwback. And I've never heard of the Marvelous Miss Maisel, and I've heard of Smilf or Smilf. I don't know how to say that. But anyway, Blackish I think is going to win that one. Alright, moving on from there, we have Best Television Limited Series or Motion Picture Made for Television. We have Big Little Lies for HBO. We have Fargo for FX. We have Feud, Bet and Joan for FX. The Sinner for USA. And Top of the Lake, China Girl for Sundance TV. I think it's probably going to be between Fargo or Feud, Bet and Joan. I remember watching the trailers for Bet and Joan and seeing this epic kind of rivalry go down, even though I don't really know too much about it, although it looked intriguing. And then also I've seen Fargo. I like that show, so that was my pick. So I think I'm going to pick Feud, Bet and Joan. Alright, best performance by an actress in a television series drama. We have Catriona Belf for Outlander. Claire Foy for The Crown. We have Maggie Gyllenhaal for The Deuce. We have Catherine Langford for 13 Reasons Why. And we have Elizabeth Moss for The Handmaid's Tale. I think I'm going to pick Maggie Gyllenhaal for The Deuce. I have not seen any of these shows. Actually, I think I watched parts of 13 Reasons Why, but I remember there was a lot of controversy there, but I don't know. I think that Maggie or Elizabeth Moss has this for Handmaid's Tale and The Deuce. Alright, so we have, moving on from there, best performance by an actress in a television series, musical, or comedy. We have Pamela Adlon for Better Things. We have Alison Brie for Glow. We have Rachel Brosnahan for the marvelous Miss Maisel. We have Issa Rae for Insecure, and we have Frankie Shaw for Smilf, whatever. This, I think, is between Alison Brie for Glow, which I actually have heard about and heard good things, and Issa Rae for Insecure. I don't know much about that. So we're going to move on from there, from Best Performance by an Actress in a Limited TV Series or Motion Picture Made for Television. Alright, we have Jessica Biel for The Sinner, Nicole Kidman for Big Little Lies, Jessica Lange for Feud, Bette and Joan, Susan Sarandon for Feud, Bette and Joan, and Reese Witherspoon for Big Little Lies. Honestly, I don't know which one I picked. I'm going to pick it right here. I'm going to look what I picked. TV movie. I think I picked Jessica Lange for Feud, Bette and Joan. So it's one of the two. So I don't know. We're moving on from there. Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role in a Series, Limited Series, or Motion Picture Made for Television. We have Laura Dern for Big Little Lies, Ann Dowd for The Handmaid's Tale, Chrissy Metz for This Is Us, Michelle Pfeiffer for The Wizard of Lies, and Shailene Woodley for Big Little Lies. Some lies in there, so lots of lies. Big Little Lies, Wizard of Lies. Anyway, whatever. What did I pick? What did I pick? I think I picked Ann Dowd for The Handmaid's Tale, because that's the only one I actually really know about. So, moving on from there, Best Performance by an Actor in a Television Series Drama. We have Jason Bateman for Ozark, which is where I'm from, and I'm not talking about Lake of the Ozarks. I'm talking about Lake of the Ozarks, not the town of Ozark, which many people probably in YouTube land don't know about. But anyway, Sterling K. Brown, This Is Us, Freddie Highmore for The Good Doctor, Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, and Liev Schreiber for Ray Donovan. I have actually not seen any of these shows, and yes, I know, I need to get on it. I need to watch Ozark, I need to watch Better Call Saul, and I need to see Ray Donovan. I've seen Breaking Bad, all of that. And speaking of that, I think Better Call Saul is going to win because I like Bob Odenkirk. I liked his performance as Saul Goodman. I know he's something else in the original because he had changed his name before he started working for Gus. But anyway, that's my pick for Best Performance of an Actor in a Television Series Drama. So let's move on for Best Performance of an Actor in a Musical or Comedy in a TV Series. We have Anthony Anderson for Blackish, Aziz Ansari for Master of None, Kevin Bacon for I Love Dick, Kevin Bacon, I just said it, Kevin Bacon again. William H. Macy for Shameless, and Eric McCormick for Will and Grace. What did I say? I have no idea. Let me look at this. I think I picked Anthony Anderson for Blackish because I've only seen Shameless. I've only seen some episodes of Shameless, and William H. Macy is really good, but they're all like on their 10th season, so I think they're probably not going to win this one. I don't know. I know nothing about TV series. I don't know if new blood usually wins or old ones do. That's why my picks are the way they are. Moving on from there, we got Best Performance by an Actor for a Limited Series or a Motion Picture Made for Television. We have Robert De Niro for The Wizard of Lies, Jude Law for The Young Pope, Kyle MacLachlan for Twin Peaks, Ewan McGregor for Fargo, and Geoffrey Rush for Genius. To me, I know Twin Peaks just came back recently, so I'm honestly thinking Kyle's going to win this one. However, I'm shooing for Ewan McGregor, even though I have not seen this season of Fargo, but I'm looking forward to that. So I think Twin Peaks is going to get this one. Kyle MacLachlan is going to win this one. And then finally, we have Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role in a Series, Limited Series, or Motion Picture Made for Television. This one's lengthy. We have David Harbour for Stranger Things, Alfred Molina for Feud, Bette and Joan, Christian Slater for Mr. Robot, Alexander Skarsgård for Big Little Lies, and David Theos for Fargo. And I think I'm going to pick Christian Slater for Mr. Robot, even though I have not seen any of these shows except for Fargo and Stranger Things. So that is my list for the Golden Globes 2018. That's happening this Sunday. Sorry I couldn't really give you too much on my television series. However, I know a little bit more about movies. And some of these I haven't seen, obviously, like Phantom Thread, The Post, Call Me By Your Name. These are some big names that I have yet to see because they're not playing down here. But I was able to see a lot of the other movies on this list, and I'm pretty secure on some of these. Others I'm not at all. But thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this little video on my thoughts on who's going to win this 2018 Golden Globe nominations. I'll be keeping track of my score. What do you think down below? Who do you think is going to win Best Actor, Best Actresses in these movies and television series? Who's going to be winning the Best Director, Best TV Series, period? Just tell me down below what you think about this list and your own thoughts on this. So don't forget to give me a like, comment down below, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe because I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around. And good luck watching the Golden Globes.